Hey everyone, this is David Brinkley coming at you guys from Carrollton for our very first episode of Why Not You, a series where I like to highlight others across different fields that are pursuing their passions. Now, I like to utilize this series to encourage and inspire others to do the same thing. Our very first guest here today is a very good friend of mine, Marques Womack. I've known him for a very long time now. We've met when we were in middle school. I was in seventh grade. I was in seventh grade. Or was I in sixth grade?
No, it was seventh because you were only there. I was in eighth grade.
Yeah,
Because I only known y'all for that 1 year in middle school at that time. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. That's crazy. That's crazy. I turned 27 this year. This old man here. Look at so. But as long as I've known Keith, he's really been passionate about film and either film or Godzilla.
Still film.
We're gonna get into that obsession with Godzilla at the right time. But I really felt inspired by Keith. We worked on a few different projects together in his film. We also used to work at Mayor's Youth Academy. I remember the culminating event we had went to, and they played like a slideshow, and he wasn't there to accept his award. And I felt so inspired. I said, I know that dude. I know him. But it's good to just have this full circle moment to have him on my talk show to bring this on and to share on. So I know I didn't really get too much into what he's doing right now, but I wanted to go through that during this interview. So, Keith, I'm gonna leave the floor to you. Ask you a question. Introduce yourself.
I am an Atlanta native, a Richmond foreigner,
Oh my
a
God.
Denver,
Dabbled.
whatever you want. I dabbled in Denver for a little bit. Spent a lot of time in Virginia though, but spent more time in Atlanta, especially as of now since I moved back. But film is something I've been passionate about since I was 6 years old. So it's always been something I wanted to do. And I remember vividly what happened. One day my mom just asked me, she's like, well, what do you want to do? Because she was pushing for me to be a doctor. Even at that age, she wanted all of us to go either lawyer, doctor, or something where your degree was going to seal the deal for that job. And it was going to be a career, matter of fact. And it was going to be a for sure career that was going to exist 20 years in the future. So she was like, doctor, lawyer, say if they make great money then, they make great money now. They're going to continue to make great money because it's something that's always going to be needed. I wasn't, no. I knew being a doctor required a lot of math. That wasn't going to work for me. Being a lawyer was boring. That wasn't going to work for me. Film, when she asked me that question, I really sat and looked at it that day and I was like, what do I want to do? And we had a little playroom at my house at the time, so it had all our toys and games in it. My little brother was there, and then we were just watching these old Godzilla movies. And I was looking at the behind the scenes, so I watched them with these destructible sets and suits that they were just putting together all of these different elements, and they were creating, well, it was dated, but it was just pleasing to look at it. So I want to say to create these stunning visuals, even just looking at all of that was just kind of fun. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can see myself doing that for my life. I wasn't going to be no set designer. I knew I didn't want to design the sets. I didn't want to design the suits. I was halfway about being in the suit. I was like, that looked kind of fun, but I heard one of the guys was suffocating inside of once. I'm like, I don't know about all that. I ain't like all of that. But as far as like putting together all of this and just having fun on set and being able to control the elements of everything, it was like creating your own world. So I started to study that a bit more, and I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely do film full time. So I looked into being more of a director and then a producer and writer. Fast forward to about middle school, there was a extracurricular activity they used to do outside of my middle school. It was the Visual Arts Center.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah, so they had a lot of things for us there too, and they had this editing course that was offered. It was a video course, but they taught us how to edit. They taught us how to shoot. They taught us how to do all of those good things. And I did it twice. The first year we did like a big event with everybody. We just made one film, all of the students that were in it, and we put together one little film. It was a trailer for like a 1950s or 40s film called Plan 9, Attack from Outer Space. So we were all actors in that, and the professor, teacher, course director, whatever you want to call him, he kind of really edited the thing. He taught us how to edit, but he did the bulk of it, but we did little pieces here and there. Like I would chop up some of the pieces and put it there, and then chop up that and chop. It's still out now, but I'm not gonna give y'all the link, so don't worry about that.
Yo.
But you know, it's fun to look at those things. And then the second time I took it, we had a different director that time, different instructor, all of that. So this was a guy who just gave us the free range to do whatever we wanted. Instead of doing one big film, he said, let's do 4, 5, 6 separate mini films. Whoever is doing what. So you know, you can either pair up, or you can do your own solo film and just do whatever. So we all made intros for our brand, our logo. Not even a logo. It was really just an intro video where we would. Mine was just this teleportation thing. I would snap my fingers and the people around me would disappear, and we would go to like different scene, different side. We was inside a building on top of something, and then we went outside. Then we went to another spot outside, and quick little something, and that was creative. So they liked that. And then I went to doing a music video. Music was something I used to dabble in back in the day.
That's right.
I still miss doing it from time to time. I never hit the level that I wanted to. Like in my head, I'm like, oh no, I know I'm not satisfied with this, and I know I could do more. I didn't revisit that until later, but I would do music up and through. I did it through middle school, a little through high school, and then I took a break when I got to college because I really wanted to get back to focusing on film. But back to the Visual Arts Center, I put out a film. It was a music video that I did. I shot it and edited it, did all of that together. You won't be getting a link to that one either.
Damn.
And after that, there was apparently I was awarded the Artist of the Future, something I didn't even know I was in, a competition I didn't know I was into then. But they did it for me being the outstanding student for the whole visual arts thing program that they did. They took us to this nice little hotel that was expensive, where they give you a lot of food, but they give you small portions of food, square plates with a little drizzle of salad dressing on it, like rich people stuff. No good for me because I was hungry after it was done. There was this little big auction they had going on, and I watched art get sold for like $100,000. I won a T-shirt, one of the cameras that we used in class, and a hat, and something. Yeah, that's about it. Camera was cool. It was a little flip camera with the USB on the side. Useless as of today.
Damn.
Ended up getting broken anyway down the line. So I still have it somewhere, but it doesn't work. But it's also useless, like I said. And college is when I dabbled back into filmmaking. And that first year of college, I was really in the dorm, just like, okay, I know I'm gonna do this. So I was taking opportunities that I could get. Did broadcast a little bit. Got into photos just a little bit. Then my sophomore year, I picked up a camera, bought one, and just kind of went up from there. I don't know how far David wants me to go. I know he got more questions, but I know he's liking this.
I do. You covered half of like my dang questions. I was going to talk about, no, you're fine. You're completely fine. I know that you've dabbled in a few more things than just film, and so, there's so many different ways you can go to with mass media, film, photography, music videos, broadcast, what I'm saying? I've known that you've done out of those things. I've seen you do photography. I've seen you do film. I've seen you do music videos. I've seen you do music, TV, and I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you, like, out of those different fields, why do you pick film over the rest of the other ones?
So I get into this stubborn mindset when I say I want to do something, that I'm going to do it. So that 6-year-old me saying, like, I want to make movies, it wasn't even TV. Like, I was actually closed-minded to TV for a while. But it was odd enough because when I was younger, me and my brothers used to act out shows. Like, we would come up with shows in our head, and we would just start acting out these shows in real time. Like, hey, you want to play? And instead of us playing, like, the game, and we just like, all right, let's play this. So this is this show, this is that show, and then this is the other show. And we would just run through those shows, in real time, and just be like, okay, had fun kind of putting that. It was almost like we were performing theater, but not theater style. It was actual television format without the audience as well. So it's like we would just do those a lot. So TV was, I guess it was always in there somewhere, but I was so against doing TV when I got closer and closer to my element. I was like, yeah, film. I want to do film. I want to shoot films. When I got to college, I did broadcast. I was working on a show called From the Press Box, which was our sports show. So we just did sports coverage. We did, it was like a late night news show that we would kind of do. And my college, Clark Atlanta University, shout out.
I was just ready. I was going to be like, let me stop you really quick. Let's talk about Clark Atlanta.
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University, sees up. But They had their own. They still have it. Their own network. I forgot what channel it is there, but neither here nor there. But there was one of the shows that was on there. It was their sports show, so we would just get coverage from the AUC. If you don't know what that is, it's the Atlanta University Center. It comprises of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, greatest school, greatest college of all time, greatest HBCU, all that good jazz. Morehouse and Spelman College and Morris Brown, but at that time they had lost their accreditation.
They got it back.
They got it back now, but at that time they ain't have it. But they were technically still a part of the AUC, but we didn't talk about them like that. So
They were shunned.
Yeah, Clark, Spelman, and Morehouse. So the three schools together, and so we would cover sports from all of those. And so that was our football, basketball, softball, baseball. We didn't have soccer. We did track. So we would just do that. So it was football season when I got there. So I was editing the package for them, and I realized broadcast is something I'm not inherently wanting to do. I kind of didn't want to in it, but my dad and mom was like, yeah, go ahead and, get everything, try everything. Talking to people getting to school, I said, yeah, if you're serious about this media stuff, you need to live in here. So I went into the MMA department, Mass Media Arts building, and
That's another conversation. I know you practiced some form of martial arts growing up too.
I started off with karate, and that karate instructor was also an MMA instructor, so we did a little of both in there. And then I transitioned to Taekwondo, and he was also a Hapkido instructor and a knife specialist.
God damn.
So he gave us defense on like all three of those things in one course. And he gave us a little bit of a blessing every now and then.
Where was he at? Is he in Richmond?
He was in Richmond.
Oh wow.
He was in the Richmond metro area, somewhere in the Richmond metro.
I'm gonna raise my kids in Richmond. Then.
But he was, him and his two sons, both of them black belts to a certain degree.
Damn.
And one of them would do more training than the other. I think he had 3 kids, but the 2 would do instructing, and one would really do more so than that. And so there was that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that was just a fun fact out there.
Yeah. So when I say MMA, I'm talking about the Mass Media Arts department for my school as of right now. But yeah, so MMA, they had 2 stages in there. One of them was green screen stage. The other was just like a sound stage. Both sound stages, but one didn't have the screen, so it just had the sets already in there. So we would move the desk over there and, whatever background we needed. But we used the green screen for this show, so we put it there and, just put a little background to it. I think that episode is on one of my computers somewhere. I got it. I can kind of see if I can pull it up. I know it's, but I met great professors there, great students, and they just pushed for it. And then eventually I stuck with CAU TV, and I did a few live events for them. Live events, press conferences, meetings, and all types of things like that. So I was manning the camera on those things, and I was like, okay, this ain't me. Like, I kept trying to inch back into it because it wasn't always like, yeah, bottom line, broadcast won it. Just the way that they taught each other, the workflow for it, it won't me. I prefer the realm of scripted things, and when I say scripted, I literally mean there's a script somewhere, we break it down, and now you have something that's supposed to translate on camera exactly or close to what it is on paper. Not reality, because reality is not scripted, it is staged. There's a difference. I don't want reality either. So that's why film and TV has been accepted.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. So I know, we've already highlighted that you went to Clark. One thing I do want to ask you is, how do you feel that Clark influenced you in sorts of like the things that you learned, the people that you met, professors? How do they help you grow as a person, and how do you think that they helped you get into the industry?
They definitely gave me some useful advice, knowledge, and opportunities to get to where I'm at today. Clark has shown me, outside of just my major, Clark has shown me time management, frustration management, dealing with financial aid every semester, yes, and how to, just rationalize situations. I was always typically kind of, I guess, level-headed, but younger, I was a little angrier back in the day. But Clark helped me with even higher stress level situations. Where it's like, oh, you're just supposed to stay calm and really work through those things. They taught me that. Clark Clark has done a lot for molding me into the person that I am currently, or really enhancing who I was, breaking me out of that shell and taking me further. The professors have been great. They've provided plenty of opportunities just for doing, like I said, even when it came back to the CU TV stuff, doing work for them had put me onto other levels and it let me meet other people. Met friends in there that had friends in other places that took me to internships that got me onto opportunities. So shout out to all the professors that I had. I'm not gonna name drop right now, but you know they know who they are. But they were the greatest, and the name drop comes later. But yeah, I would say that they definitely put me in the right direction with showing me how to write scripts, direct, produce, manage talent, how to work with no budget films. So they did a lot. So
let's talk about some of the projects that you've worked on. You know, what was your first big project when it comes to, let's say, getting yourself into the industry?
So the first big project that I actually worked on was a TV show named Woke. I was working on the second season. It's on Hulu. Fortunately, got canceled after that season. But that happened right after COVID. We were still technically in the pandemic. It was 2021. This was June when I officially started working there. The process of me working there is not. There's no blueprint to it. I was on Instagram, saw a post, replied to the post, and I was told to send my resume to someone's boss. Did it. Got a call 2 weeks later. After that initial call, got a call 2 hours later and said, "Hey, can you start working?" I worked the next day, and the rest was kind of in stone. So.
Wow. Can I see your name in the credits?
For Woke, probably not, since they didn't roll in credits.
Oh. I haven't seen it.
A lot of those streaming shows don't typically run like the, for whatever reason, they don't always have the in credits, like they run through the direction. If so, my name is in the credits somewhere. Like if you check IMDb, it'll be there and all that. But
okay.
Other shows, yeah, my name is on the credits. I'm on the opening credits for something.
Oh.
Closing credits.
We discussed one of your biggest projects, or one of the first projects you got into. You want to name drop like a few of the things you've worked on?
Yeah. Okay. So for Woke, I was an office assistant. So I just did office things, run around, grabbed this, that, and the third. So we can keep that part straight. I didn't write, direct, or produce these projects I'm about to name. I was in the office, but office PA on that one. I worked on Legacies, season 4 of that, which was a continuation of the vampire stuff. It was the Vampire Diaries and the originals, and then this was the second spinoff from that. So third in the continuity, but third overall. So after, let's see, Woke, Legacies, I worked on BMF. They played on that. So y'all like BMF. I was on that. They played in the office on that. I was a production secretary on Tyler Perry's Ruthless, Oval, Sisters. What's that other show? Bruh. And yeah, Bruh.
I never heard of that.
All the Queen's Men. And then I was a assistant production coordinator on House of Pain.
I love that show growing up.
So
hey, let me get a signature, man. What the what?
From who? Yeah, the cast on that one loved me, so I love them. They're great people, so I definitely loved working on House of Pain. I gotta say, out of all the shows I've worked on, House of Pain was probably my favorite show to work on, and Legacies was probably second. In retrospect, Legacies was second, because at the time I didn't like working on Legacies when I was there. It was cool, but it was different from what I was used to. But I grown to love it and realized that it wasn't as bad. It was actually pretty fun, and the culture was a bit different, but it was still a great opportunity at the end of the day.
So I know for you as a creator, and I know we worked on a few different projects ourselves. The Perfect Sandwich, which is out there.
You can get a link to that one.
It's a short film. It's funny. You guys can watch it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
YouTube, Instagram.
It's just on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
The full thing.
But I kind of want to differentiate between the work that you do at work versus your creative vision as a creator. So what do you feel is what are you more passionate about? The work that you do like on these different shows versus what you do as a creator?
Oh man, that's such a difficult question for me to answer. If I was lying to myself, all about the creation. I've been wanting to create for the longest. Like I would be lying if I said I woke up every day to jump into, even though these are big shows and we love them. I would hate to say that I wake up to continuate the success that somebody else has already done to put mine on hold. So for me, it is all about creating. I feel I'm at the height of everything in my element when I'm out there on set directing this and I'm directing that, or I'm producing, putting these things together. The difference between them is what I do inside of the production office as an assistant production coordinator and even as a secretary. I'm doing things from like delegating certain tasks to the crew, to my team, like, they got to go on certain runs, pick up these things, pick up those things, or even running certain things to set, to managing emails, calendaring. I've had to do some traveling before, travel accommodations, setting those up for cast and for crew. I've done those on some shows, even though it's supposed to be a separate department or separate position. But those are just some of the things we got to do. Filing, the stuff that sounds like you would do in an office, but instead of it being for like a corporate setting, or no corporation, this is for film or TV show. So that stuff, all the computers, the Word documents, the Excel, all of that good stuff, data entry and administrative work. I don't hate it. I actually have fun when I'm doing that for certain shows. It's fun, and it puts bread on the table, pays pretty well. But creating is the bread and butter for me. It's second to none.
What type of bread?
Sourdough maybe.
Sourdough.
I actually like a good sourdough bread, but I mostly eat honey wheat because it's affordable. Because
we like honey wheat. Honey wheat's great.
I'm frugal, so honey wheat. But yeah, me creating is me doing everything from the locations, finding locations, casting, getting a crew together, getting equipment together, creating a budget, breaking all of those things down, and going out there and actually bringing all that equipment to the stage and wherever I'm at and shooting it, bringing it back to my computer, putting it all together, editing everything, and putting out a product. That's where I live, and that's where I'm at the height of everything, when I'm out there creating, because I have the control to do whatever I want, and they can't tell me no.
So
that's the best.
You think it like inspires your inner child, the one that watched Godzilla, and you get to create the scenes that you saw. So it's a pretty fulfilling. That's pretty fulfilling. That's pretty fulfilling, man. So, what are your current projects? What are you currently working on?
I just got done co-directing a pilot series that's going to come out called "Does That Make Sense?" with one of my colleagues, great friends, Derek Boyd, so Junior. The Junior's in there. Don't forget the Junior. Great series, by the way. So when you get a chance, it's actually dropping March 6th this year, 2025. So go ahead and check that out when you get a chance to. But I got done working on that pilot. There was another series I was helping another friend I was co-producing called The Lily and Riri Show. They actually have a pretty decent following, so if you're familiar with them, go check them out as well. But we're putting a sitcom together for them. So The first season is coming out soon, so check that out. And a project of mine that I'm working on, Aspects Day Off, is my first fantasy action short film. So definitely check that out. Well, to check out House of Hope. It's a sitcom, not even sitcom. It's a comedy series that I did, sitcom-esque type style, but not a sitcom. Check that out. That's also on YouTube. I'll put the link to that one as well. Be down there somewhere.
That's funny. House of Hope, man. Let me give you guys some backstory to House of Hope. How that came about. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. House of Hope basically highlights the college days. You know what I'm saying? We lived in Hope Street during college. And there were just so many different things that went down, man. I mean, bro, man, I remember pulling up. And I've never been to Atlanta a day in my life. And the first experience I get as I'm pulling up to their place, I see a prostitute. And I'm not talking about no fine looking chick. You know what I'm saying? She was like at least in her 50s. She was big.
Oh no.
She was big, and nothing against big women, but she was older. She had them janks sagging.
All professions require retirement. It doesn't matter what it is. It's about time, is what it sounds like.
And some car pulled up to her. And they started talking, and she ended up getting in the car, and they drove off somewhere. I said, "That's crazy, bro. This is what Atlanta's about. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man." Yo.
Oh man.
Yo.
Many stories on House of Hope. Because living on Hope Street, it was an oxymoron within itself. It's a street that's supposed to be so full of hope and prosperity, but when you look at it, you got drug dealers on one side, prostitutes on the other, across from a school,
Right?
elementary school on top of that. It didn't look like it was too big of a school, so I'm guessing but it wasn't a specialty school. It couldn't have been. It just was a smaller elementary school. They ended up remodeling it, and then they cleaned, they gentrified this area, so they moved all of those prostitutes out the way at this point. Got rid of all of that, and there was this local corner store that was right there. They used to be flooded around there too. They kind of cleaned that stuff up too. Moved all of them out the way, pushed them all to the other side of that same little street. But it's like, nah, get off of Hope Street, get off of Hobson Street, get off of push them. They pushed them further into the hood. It's like, yeah, get further back in there. We can't. Hope Street is nice now. All of these nice big houses in there, and it was like, wow, this don't even look like the same street I lived on 5-6 years ago.
Facts. No, for real. No, I mean, shout out to the Green Store, Brothers Market. Isn't that what it was called?
Something like that.
Something like that. They're freaking dope. I love y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all held it down for as long as we were there. So I appreciate y'all for keeping it real. And anyway, as we transition, I'm just thinking about the things we talked about, getting yourself started. Your start from Godzilla, watching that as you grew up, getting inspired by that, and actually starting to act out and see the work that you've put your whole life to. You know what I'm saying? You've started this journey since you were, 6 years old? You're
Give or take.
That's crazy. And you're 28 now. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, that's a lifetime of work, and something to be proud of. I'm going to ask, do you have any words of advice for people that are kind of trying to get themselves started in, the industry or a creative project?
Create, don't wait. So if you sit down waiting for Hollywood or this director or that producer or whoever you think might be plugged into the industry to give you an opportunity, you're passing a lot of precious time. And that's time people who are out there doing it, they're going to get that scout. They're going to get that look. They're not wasting time waiting on somebody to greenlight them or give them money to do it. Shoot with what you have. Grab the crew that you can get and make that movie. Make that TV show. Do that talk show. Do that podcast. Maybe put the mics down because too many of them podcasts have started since this COVID stuff started. But if you got some quality to it, some depth and some, a little bit of something to it, go ahead and do it. But don't wait on someone else to say, yeah, I like what you have. Give me this. No. Just start making stuff. Issa Rae did it. Look where it took her. She took her phone. She went up and if I got to show that, I got to show the Galaxy. I'm sorry.
Let's get it.
But she took her phone. She did a whole series with it. Got a scout. Somebody saw it. Somebody saw that on YouTube and said, oh, this awkward black girl is awkward for real, but I like it. She got a whole hit show on HBO. Yeah. So don't bypass an opportunity because you think you don't have the funds for it. You can shoot. These cameras are capable of shooting these days. Go pick up a $200 camera from the store. Don't even have to be crazy. Entry level DSLR, a point and shoot camera. Get what you can get. Use your phone if you have to. Go vertical. Do not. I mean, go horizontal. Do not go vertical. Shoot it. Shoot either way when you do it. But do that. Make your movie. Get your crew. Pay them with food. They will stick around. Pay them with something to eat. They will stick around. If you do not have the funds to pay them, action with your ching. Feed them. Feed the beast. And keep working towards that. Don't be discouraged if your first project isn't gonna be the greatest project of all time. You're gonna run into errors. Just keep creating.
Some good words, man. Cleese, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being here. That's going to conclude our first episode. Man, you guys keep doing what you guys are going to do. Again, this series is just to highlight just one person's walk to their journey. Everyone's journey is different. My journey is different from your journey. Your journey is different from my journey. So I want to utilize this to inspire other people, to encourage them to do what they're going to do, whether it be in, film, photography, whether it be in real estate, or I don't care what you want to do. Go out there, do it, create it, and just make sure you have fun while doing it. So you guys enjoy the rest of your time. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate y'all.
That's a cut.